Hey guys, it's Chelsea.
Hey Chris.
And we are back with a bonus video because you know we couldn't leave y'all hanging. Thank you so much for all the love and support that you guys were, and the concerns, the messages, text messages, all that stuff. Like that really, even if I did not respond, immediately, just know everything was seen, and I did feel it gave me some comfort in this stressful, crazy time that we had post-surgery. We will do a separate video of his post-op to talk about the surgery and how that went and everything. This is just to address the craziness that happened because we felt like we were leaving y'all hanging, and we want to bring you along for not just the good stuff, but the, the not so great stuff.
I mean, it's going to be a great story.
Yeah, it's after the fact, but it was very scary for me.
That wasn't alright. Yeah, but I'm here, I'm alive, and I'm recovering well.
So now that he is home, we're more comfortable sharing this story because we know that it obviously has a positive outcome. But at the time, I thought this was like the scariest time of my life for me. Like, I really thought like I was losing him. The whole fear of him not being able to make it out of surgery alive was a fear in the back of my mind for me. I'll tell you what had happened.
What had happened.
Okay, so we're done with surgery. Finally get to him. That's the picture that I posted on Instagram saying that he was finally out. And even in that picture, looking back, like in hindsight,
I look
like
crazy.
He did not.
I'm like, what kind of picture is this? I got like half my face is working. I'm like, like.
But I'm just thinking he's, coming. He's only going under one other time in his whole entire life. So, this is not something that's normal for him, normal for his, for his body and stuff like that. So I'm just thinking, okay, he's just coming out, so that's why he's a little, a little off. But he was able to talk to me. There was no mumbling. Everything was cool.
I knew that I was going in and out, and I was trying. Chelsea kept trying to like keep me awake.
Okay, so that took a while for him to get discharged because they moved him from that room that we took the picture of him in. We had to get moved to another room for him to get discharged. So it's another set of nurses that we're dealing with. Finally get discharged. They teach me how to do the drains and everything. All that was fine. He gets wheeled out because you have to, go out in a wheelchair. But once we pulled the car up, he was able to walk to the car. Everything is cool. We get him situated.
And I'm still feeling kind of like
loopy, which
is right, which
normal.
I didn't think was weird. I was like, all right, let me just occupy myself. So I'm texting people. I made it out. Blah blah blah. So we're listening to music. We rolling, and then
we make it maybe three-quarters of the way home because we only had like a good 35 minutes left to drive before we made it home. And Chris needs to pull over. He said,
well, before then, I'm like, oh wow, like I'm not feeling too hot. My legs feel tingly, and like I'm really hot. I'm like, oh god, it's hot. Like turn on the AC. So my father-in-law turns in the AC higher, and now I'm like having shortness of breath. It feels like I can't breathe. So I take 2 puffs of my asthma pump, and then
no, you're skipping.
I'm skipping?
Well, the thing that he said after he pulled over, I get out of the car to adjust him because he says that he needs to adjust how he's sitting, and the way that you described it, you said I'm falling off the seat, and I'm thinking, well, there hasn't been any surgery done on your ass, so there's no reason why you should be sliding off the seat. What are you talking about? You have not moved. You're strapped in. You haven't gone anywhere. Then you ask for the puff of the inhaler. And I can tell, you could see the beads of sweat by that point.
I'm pouring sweat. I'm like, it is so hot. I'm pouring sweat. And then I'm like, I'm thinking I'm gonna pass out, and I think I said,
you did say that loud,
I'm gonna pass out, and then I think I said, it's happening. And then I passed out. In my head I said, it's happening, and then I passed out.
So yeah, that was the big scare because he was out and unresponsive. Like I can tell that he was trying to open his eyes when I was yelling at him, so I need you to open your eyes. I could see the movement, but it just wasn't happening. So I'm epileptic, and I've been for, I don't know, since I was 16. So I know kind of the tricks to get you to wake up, but him being in that position just coming out of surgery, I can't move him too much, you know what I mean, to to do the tricks that I know to wake you up. I couldn't do that because I didn't feel comfortable moving him. I didn't want to make anything worse. So I'm smacking him. Like, I'm surprised he didn't have no bruises, because now you're really scaring me. I'm smacking him. I'm yelling at him. You need to wake up. I'm opening his eyes. His eyes are dilating back and forth. But he was just unresponsive. So I'm trying to call the number that they, you know, that they give you on your discharge papers if you have any issues, to contact the doctor directly. But whatever number that they gave me was the wrong number. So I was pissed. Now I'm like, who the fuck am I supposed to call? Excuse me, let's just start rolling. Let's get back on the road. So I get him strapped in. We start driving, and this whole time everything has been clear. The ride down, the ride coming up,
no traffic.
Up until this point, no traffic. All of a sudden we go over a horizon. What is it? Non-stop. It's just
Gridlock.
Stopped.
Yeah.
Gridlock. There's no movement, no nothing. We're surrounded by trucks and everything. So I'm like, there's nothing else I can do. I need to call 911. I need somebody to be able to get through all this traffic to get him the help that he needs. So I call 911, and they need us to get over. Of course, it's impossible. I'm about to get out of the car and stand in front of these trucks and be like, don't fucking move. So I didn't have to do that. All I had to do was put my arm out, and they knew that something was wrong, so they just stopped and let us go. So we go over to the shoulder. Mind you, Chris has a huge SUV vehicle, and the vehicle is like this, the shoulder is like this. So we don't have much space to work with. The dispatcher is trying to get us to get him out of the vehicle and lay him flat on the ground. So my father's a big guy, he's a strong guy, he can, you know, I don't think that would have been a problem for him to do, but because of the positioning and also trying to not mess up the drains that were already in place, it was kind of hard to do that. You can't even open the door all the way between the guardrail and the vehicle, so it was really hard to do. But thankfully, before we had your feet out, but the rest of you it was a problem. But thankfully there were they were EMTs. There was an EMT that almost caused an accident getting over to us, but they got there very quick. So I'm very happy and appreciative for the EMTs that did respond so quickly to our call. But they came. There was four EMTs, that came before the ambulance got there, and then the police and, you know, all the emergency response people.
But in the meantime,
in the meantime, I'm still, before these people even get there, sorry, I skipped. Before these people even got there, and I'm still listening to the dispatcher because they want him, we couldn't get him out of the car at that point, so we just laid the front seat as far down as possible because we're trying to get him as level as possible. As he's starting to come to, and he's trying to, you know, sit upright, and I'm like, no, you need to lay down, I'm happy that he's being responsive or doing some kind of movement, but at the same time, I'm like, why? I yelled at you. I was like, stop fighting me.
Now, in my mind, I have passed out. I have forgotten that I have passed out. I just went to sleep in my mind. So I see Chelsea has the door open. I mean, it's a little loud, but I'm thinking we're in our driveway. I'm like, we're home. So I'm like, nah, I'm good. Like, we made it. Like, I'm good. So that's all I kept saying is I'm good, trying to get up because I'm thinking that I have to get out the car. But I was not good.
No, not at all. Fighting me the whole way. So
I wasn't like
fighting.
Got up,
I pushed you down.
I wasn't like fighting.
Your straps at that time.
You were bullying me. That's what happened.
You needed to stay down. That's what I was telling. That's what I was being told to do.
Right, but I wasn't like fighting. This just to make that
clear.
no,
not fighting, like trying to throw.
Well, please specify.
Hits.
I mean,
you physically couldn't do it anyway at that point. Anyway.
Right.
So yeah, I did miss that point. But by the time that the paramedics got there and everything, it was like 6 people. Then the ambulance came. That's another like 5 people. And the police officers. And the thing that was cool, like I wasn't thinking this at the time, but nobody misgendered him, and they're talking to me, you know, like, and they couldn't, but I think that's why they didn't understand when I was telling them he just got out of surgery, he just had a double mastectomy. They're not piecing it together that, okay, a mastectomy means that he had breasts and had them removed. So even though I'm saying
other men have had top surgery, like, you know.
Yeah, but I'm sure that's not that common.
So they say, Chris, can you get out the car? Now I'm good, right? I'm good. So I'm like, yeah, I can get out the car. So I put my feet out the car, and then I wake up in the ambulance.
Yeah, so he did try to get out of the car when they asked him if he could do it himself, and I'm shaking my head no, but he's insisting that he can get out. So he has to come past me because I'm still stuck in between the open door and you. Mm-hmm. So I'm just stuck there. Everybody's doing their paramedic stuff, and I'm just standing there trying to be out the way, but I can't move.
Cuffed, all kinds of things.
So when Chris comes out the car, now he's directly in front of me. He takes one step forward towards the EMT and just falls out. So I have my knee holding his ass up. The one person that was in front of him holding him, you know, like underneath the arms. And then two people came from behind, like had to go behind the guardrail in order to hold him up by his shorts. So during that shuffle, and I'm just screaming, watch the drains! Because they didn't know at that point the surgery. Well, I didn't want them to pull anything out and cause more damage, you know?
Right.
So, yeah, so he hit his knee on the guardrail.
Smashed it.
So he's got a little boo-boo there.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it was a crazy time. So then they finally...
No, so when I get in the ambulance... I'm coming to it, so they're like, what happened? And I'm just like, double mastectomy. I'm like, I fell asleep. Like, I don't know what's happening, really. I really don't. But that gurney, I'm pretty wide, but that gurney is like laying on a popsicle stick. And I'm just like, they want me to pull my arm out, this and that. They're trying to get blood pressure. They're trying to start an IV. They can't find a vein. I'm getting stuck. It's terrible. And I don't know what's going on. I'm just rocking like this, like the whole time. I don't know what's going on.
And I couldn't, there was too many people that were surrounded, because they're trying to figure out what's wrong. So there was too many people that was actually in the ambulance. So I had to drive. I couldn't drive right next to him, but I was in the passenger side of the ambulance. So I keep looking back. I'm like, we're not moving. What's wrong? You know, like I'm freaking out because we're not moving. Come to find out, we have to drive. In order to get to the nearest hospital, we had to go across 4 lanes, through the median, and drive on the wrong side of the highway for about 2 miles in order to turn around and get to the hospital that we ended up at, Good Samaritan Hospital. So, and my father was still following us from behind the ambulance. We finally get there, and that in itself, like I'm tired. I'm only running on like 4 hours of sleep at that point, and it's already what I would say.
It's like, because my last text I sent was like 9:54. So I'm gonna say around 10:30.
I posted it on Facebook, and that's exactly. I was in the ambulance at that time, just wait. You know, like we're almost to the hospital, and that's when I post. So I can probably tell by the time that I posted it on Facebook. But it was just a very scary ordeal because it was in and out, and nobody can say what was wrong at that point.
Right.
So when we got to the hospital, he ended up, long story short, trying to make it short.
Making it short. Long story short, my blood pressure dropped to like crazy numbers. I'm telling the nurse I'm fine. My blood pressure's reading like 60/20. She's looking at me like, shut up, you don't know what you're talking about. They ended up keeping me overnight.
But I had to leave because I had
Chelsea
to
leave.
Or get the baby
Right.
You know, situated.
So Chelsea leaves the hospital around 4 a.m. I'm in and out of sleep, you know, the whole night. They ended up not admitting me, but I was under observation. So around 6 a.m. that's when like I could walk again and like, you know, be able to use the bathroom and things like that. And
on top of that, they also said that you had an infection, which I don't really believe that. I mean, it is something that's expected when you get out of that type of surgery.
But like,
that
you're not gonna. I don't.
You didn't even let me finish my statement.
I'm sorry.
That your white blood counts are gonna be elevated. So that's something that was expected, and according to them, it's supposed to stay at 10,000, but his was at 18,000.
Yeah.
But again, to us, it wasn't a big thing. That's why they prescribe you antibiotics when you get out of a major surgery, just to fight off anything that may develop. Right. But that's something that's expected. So but they said that he had an infection.
Right. So,
but the blood pressure is something we could not deny.
Right. I was shivering for hours. Like, it was so cold. Even though it wasn't cold in the room, I had blankets, jackets. I could not get warm until my blood pressure increased. But they gave me lots of fluids. They gave me IV antibiotics immediately. And I think it was like 3 or 4 times they gave me like different bags of the antibiotics. And then Chelsea came down the following day.
Which I did not leave. I didn't feel comfortable at all leaving him there. It was like, I don't know, it was like going to the hospital and having I mean, that's a bad analogy because it's sad if that ever has to happen to anybody, and I kind of can relate to, you know, to those moms. Like, to have a child and not be able to leave the hospital with that child is like, that killed me. I really felt like I was losing him. So for me to have to leave him, like, it really took a lot for me to just go. If my father wasn't waiting to also get home, like, I felt bad for him. He's been driving the whole day, you know what I mean, driving and chilling with me the whole day. That's not what he signed up for. Although he wasn't, you know, it's not anything to be upset about. I still felt bad.
Right. So they ended up leaving at 4. She came back the following day, and then I was discharged at 2 because I was up and running. So that's what happened. So,
but for me, it felt like scary because when you were in the emergency, they made it seem like it was going to be days before you were released.
Yeah, they did. They tried to. But at 6 a.m., I was like, I could stand up. I could pee by myself. I'm going to need to get out of here. So from 6 o'clock to 12 o'clock, I was like, where's the doctor? I'd like to leave. Where's the doctor? I'd like to leave. Calling him. I want to leave. I'm fine. Blood pressure is 120/57. Like, that's perfect. Let me out. So I fought my way.
That's the story. That's the
what happened.
Long, not the short of it.
Yeah.
But
so a 3-hour procedure turned into, yeah, a 24-hour ordeal. But thank God I was able to make it. Thank God that, you know, he sent people who were at the right place at the right time to save me and to bring me back. And, you know, thank you to you for calling, making the call. And thank you to your father-in-law.
Your father-in-law.
I mean, my father-in-law, your daddy. And just thank you to anybody who had a hand in it, really, from the driver to the dispatcher to all the nurses and everybody that was involved with the whole situation. So thank you.
So we hope you enjoyed this video. We had to not leave you hanging,
Right.
but definitely look out for our first post-op update.
Right. That should be soon. Hopefully these drains will be gone, and then we get into the fun stuff.
So we will see you next time, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe. Love you. Bye.
Bye.